guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. If you guys are new here, thanks so much for joining me today. As you can tell from today's title, we're going to be talking about planets in the fourth house. There will be timestamps linked below. So guys, whenever we think of the fourth house represents our comfort. It represents the maternity figure, our home, real estate, and it also represents our privacy and security. So with that being said, up first, I'm going to talk about having the sun in your fourth house and what that means. So with the sun in the fourth house, you may have had a controlling parent or having to fulfill the role of a parent. Your ego is typically tied to how you grew up. Think the sun represents our pride and ego, so you could create this comfortable environment that you are, you take pride in, like creating a comfortable environment for your home. You're typically shaped by the way you were raised. Like your ego is based on how you were raised, so how you grew up is basically how you will be. You could have a desire to stay at home and raise a family, or to like work from home. You're typically seen as a homebody and sensitive. You could like to have home parties. I could see you throwing parties at home and things like that. Like you take pride in having a nice home and being able to have people come over. You may put a lot of work into maintaining your home. Also, another thing with the sun in the fourth house, you could also be overly dependent on like your family members' opinions. Like you don't do anything without having their opinion first. You also may have an interest in becoming like some type of realtor or interior home decorating person. You could possibly be known for that. So that's all I have for sun. If you guys have the moon in your fourth house, this one's for you. You guys could be seen as overly sensitive and introverted. For you, the home is sacred. You may hide yourself at home. You may stay at home a lot. You may be in like hermit mode. That's what the moon in the fourth house reminds me of. Someone who likes to stay at home and they don't really like to go too much out of their comfort zone. You guys may have a hard time leaving the nest. You may be very close to your mother or a maternal figure. You guys grew up in a loving home, probably a harmonious home, without, you were able to like express yourself freely with this placement. Without being judged is what I'm trying to say. You were able to express yourself freely without being judged. So that's all I have for the moon. If you guys have Mercury in your fourth house, this one's for you. You guys probably come from a line of intellectuals, very smart, intelligent people. And you guys are well educated. You may have been homeschooled or just had a really well education. I could see you going to like private school or something like that. You guys may have flashbacks a lot on your childhood memories. You grew up really well with parents who were really invested into your knowledge. Your parents may have expected you to go to college. You guys may write children's books, or you could be like early childhood teachers or some type of what do they call them? Daycare workers. You guys could be that type of person or interested in those things. You guys, your parents are probably very outspoken and they are not quiet about their views. You might have the parents that like to talk about everything and that's going on in your life on social media. Anything that you accomplish, they post you on social media. You guys could also have took many like trips whenever you were younger. Not like flying on a plane, but you may have took many road trips. But that's all I have for Mercury in the fourth house. If you guys have Venus in the fourth house, this one's for you. You guys probably grew up in a harmonious home with the mother and the parent being there. You guys may have had like this beautiful home. You may have gotten so many compliments on like, your house and stuff when you were younger, and even now, like you may have like, I see you having like a nice ass chandelier and stuff like that, like just very clean. Your maternal figure, your mom, is probably very elegant. She probably dresses up all the time. She don't leave the house without her, her hair combed and just like her makeup on. And I could see your mom always dressing you up as a child. Your mom probably always kept you looking well, nice and groomed. She probably instilled those values in you. I feel like you're comfortable expressing your feminine side with the ones closest to you. So you're comfortable opening up and showing like the most feminine, intimate sides of you to your mom or your family. And you also may have this, how do I say it? You also may have this, like a friend type of relationship with your mom. Like y'all are so close that y'all are like friends. Your family could have valued vanity and beauty over everything else. So like over like your education and over everything else, over your feelings. They may have valued that. That's what they were more concerned about than like your emotions. They showed love to you by like giving you things instead of like stimulating you emotionally. That's all I have for Venus. If you have Mars in the 4th house, you guys may move out or seek independence at a young age. I see a Mars with the 4th house person. They could have grown up with like hunter parents. They could have parents that like to hunt or had a lot of firearm in their household, or maybe like taught them how to use a gun when they were younger. You know how I don't know how it is in other states, but in Texas, like hunting is a big thing out here, and they teach their kids like from a very young age. I mean, like kids are like 8 years old learning how to, and they know how to use like a bow and arrow and firearms out here, which to each his own, you know what I mean? But yeah, they could be very pro-gun people, pro-firearm people. Like with the gun situation, this kind of ties in. You guys may have like took martial arts or boxing. Your parents may have instilled, you know, ways that you could protect yourself from a very young age, because Mars is a very protective sign in the 4th house of home. Very protective over your family members. You're the type of person that's like, don't talk about, you could talk about me all you want, but don't talk about my family members. That's what a Mars in the 4th house vibe gives me. You guys were probably athletic, and you were just nonstop as a child, just like running around. But I see you guys being very athletic, maybe doing a lot of sports in your younger years. Your parents may have valued sports. You may come from a long line of athletic people. I see you guys or your parents having just like, you know, these strong values, these strong deep-rooted values. And, you know, once you have your mindset to something, you just do it. And that's how you were raised to be, to think. And you could have a parent that's like an entrepreneur. Maybe they traveled a lot, or they instill that entrepreneur spirit within you. Like, you know, work for yourself. This is how you can make money for yourself. I also see that there's a possibility that you can break away from, you know, the traditional family values and go out and create your own, because you are this leader and you're meant to just do your own thing and not be so caught up in the way things were once done. That's all I have for Mars in the 4th house. If you guys have Jupiter in the 4th house, you guys may have come from a wealthy family. You guys could have really traveled a lot when you were younger, and you're very supported by your family in anything that you want to do. I definitely, like with wealthy, I see you probably grew up privileged with Jupiter in the 4th house. You could be a realtor that sells big homes, like really big, nice homes to the wealthy, or you could just own multiple homes, like very large real estate. You could own like lots of land also with this placement. I could see you guys going to school and learning how to be an architect. Maybe one of your parents were like an architect or a landscaper or some type of interior decorator. Also with this placement, you guys may have internal or passed down knowledge or family secrets on how to gain wealth. Just a lot of knowledge passed down on how you can obtain wealth in a easier way than most people have to do. And with this placement also, you guys could be supported by your family. Like you have some type of inheritance that your family, or some type of allowance that your family gives you like monthly. I could see that with this placement. If you guys have Saturn in your 4th house, this one's for you. So with Saturn in the 4th house, this planet of discipline and restriction, you guys were deprived in some sort of way whenever you were younger. You may have had a parent that was emotionally closed off or neglected you in some type of way. You may have lacked basic necessities at one point. Also, on the other hand, on the other side of this, you may have been like overly disciplined when you were younger. You might have had parents that restricted you in some sort of way. Maybe they were like overprotective. That's the other side of this. It's either one or the other with Saturn. You may have like had to raise yourself. You may have had to be that like parent figure for your own self. Definitely had to like learn hard lessons at a young age, and this matured you at a very young age. You may come off as this old soul to people. People will probably like, girl, you act like you're 60 and you're really just 18. You know what I mean? You become very wise at a young age with Saturn in the 4th house. Also with Saturn in the 4th house, it's hard to obtain a house, or you could have been homeless or not had a stable home until like after your Saturn return, then you'll be able to, like, if you did the work, you'll be able to like get all these things. But it's hard to like get a house, and when you do get in a house, there's always something going wrong. You may have grown up without one of your parents, maybe the father, because Saturn is a more masculine sign. I say maybe you like grew up without your father in your actual life, or you may have some type of struggle, some type of power struggle with Saturn in the 4th house with your father. That's all I have for you guys who have Saturn in the 4th house. If you guys have Uranus in the 4th house, this one's for you. You guys probably grew up feeling like the outsider. You're probably the black sheep, the one that the family just doesn't understand. And on the other hand, you may feel like your family is extremely weird, extremely different, and like you just may rebel against them. I see you being the child that rebelled in their younger years. Also with this placement, you could have moved around a lot, never really having a stable childhood home. Your parents may have been like travelers or did a lot of traveling for their jobs. And I think with this placement with Uranus in the 4th house, you may have been passed down very unconventional ways or unconventional traditions. Things that society would call weird or different. This is the things that you were taught when you were younger. So you always grew up feeling quite different from other people. Also with this placement, you guys may have been taught like to have an open mind. You're very open-minded about things. You may have like longed for a sense of community from your younger years, or maybe like the community had so much to do with raising you. You guys may have an interest in like having a house like full of tech, like having tech rule your house, or have interest in having a modern home or more advanced like type of home, if that makes any sense. But that's all I have for Uranus in the 4th house. If you guys have Neptune in the 4th house, you guys may have grew up putting your parents and family on a pedestal, only to find out later that that wasn't exactly the case. You may feel like they were frauds, your parents were frauds, because you saw them as one way and you put them on a pedestal, but then later on you found out like that wasn't the case. Your parents could have been extremely creative, very creative. They could have like hidden secrets from you too as well. Or maybe like whenever you were younger, you hid a lot of secrets. There could be a lot of family secrets with this placement. Your home appeared to be very harmonious. I think maybe you grew up like very spiritual, knowing about spiritual topics. Maybe like when you were younger, you had a lot of psychic phenomenons or psychic experiences. One of your parents could have been imprisoned or in jail whenever you were younger. So with Neptune in the 4th house, I think you may have had like, this is not for everybody, but you may have had like an imaginary friend, but you may have had this imaginary friend like way past the usual age for kids to have an imaginary friend. So you could have had an imaginary friend like when you were 16 or 18 or something like that, which could be your spirit guides, but that's something with Neptune. But also like with Neptune in the 4th house, you may like subconsciously pick up on some of the bad habits that your parents had. So if your parents had a drinking problem or they drank a lot, you may like start to drink a lot, pick up on those like bad habits of your parents. And so you could have had like an alcoholic parent and things like that too. But that could have all been hidden from you. You found out later like your parent was like extremely addicted to alcohol or addicted to substances. But anyways, that's all I have for Neptune in the 4th house. If you guys have Pluto in the 4th house, this one's for you. You guys could have inherited money or like some sort of debt from your family. You guys could have like many family secrets, like, or good or bad, whether it was either or. You guys could have like a lot of family secrets. You could have, this is intense, but you could have had your home burned down or witness like one of your family members' home burned down whenever you were a child or something like that. You guys could have moved from home to home, never really having that stable home, like always having to move. You guys growing up in some sort of way you felt unsafe or unloved. There may have been power struggles between like the parents in your home. Maybe your parent was like in the army or something like that, and that caused you to have to travel and constantly change your home, which resulted in an unstable, living conditions. You could have had many one of your parents could have had like many different partners come into the home. Also, with this placement with Pluto in the 4th house, you could have been exposed or taught about the occult or like hidden knowledge. Also, if Pluto is well placed in the 4th house, which is a hard placement for Pluto to have Pluto, you could have been taught to use your power in a way that benefits you and helps you, to rise to any situation. But that's all I have for Pluto in the 4th house. So anyways, guys, that's all. That's just the end of the video, guys. If you guys are looking forward to the 5th house video, make sure you guys stay tuned. Go ahead and comment down below your sun, moon, and rising. And that is all I have for you guys. I will see you on the next one.